I cannot do this myself without these fantastic gentlemen and ladies that are supporting me. Thank you very much. My present members, of course, this is our show. If you are here, if you look at the sponsors in there, even we're sponsoring this ourselves. Within present, thank you very much. Mr. Ario, the major sponsor for us, thank you very much for the AOS. And the people that have not mentioned are technical partner for SAIPEC. GEP, Mohammed is here. I was introducing him to the minister. The minister said, I thought he's a white guy. I said, no, he's an African. Mohammed is from Egypt. Thank you very much. We've been doing this together for 9 years. We will not be where we are without you being there. Mohammed loves Nigeria. He loves Nigeria from graduate. Thank you very much. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Petroleum Technology Association of Nigeria, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the SAIPEC 2025. This SAIPEC is the biggest one that we are having to date. And we're very proud of what we have done with our partners to get us to where we are. Over the next few days, we engage in thought-provoking discussions, share knowledge, and explore innovative solutions to the challenges we face in our industry. Personally, we see ourselves as a think tank organization. When we identify a problem, we want to practically solve it. I've been keenly following the industry trend, and I've carefully selected a team, sub-teams of this conference to help shape an even more positive energy outlook for Africa, in tandem with our vision to deepen collaborations with governments and critical stakeholders in what we call navigating the next. Those of you that attended our 30th anniversary, the slogan that we created was navigating the next. What does that mean for us, especially in Nigeria? We've had these local content law past 16 years ago. We've developed capacity. Companies are working across continents. Nigerian indigenous companies that started here, they're working in India, we are working in the Middle East, we're working across African countries. So what do we do next? So that's one of the main things that we're going to be driving today throughout the week. This is why we shall be hearing from critical industry stakeholders, among which is the African Petroleum Producers Organization, APO, to give insights on what is seen to be the most pressing issue facing the continent's energy sector, financing and other challenges. We're excited that the international investors, development banks, and private equity firms have shown steadfast interest in the African energy market and the launch of the Africa Energy Bank by the African Export-Imports Bank and Apple. That was the key milestones that marked the creation of first of its kind institution designed to fund and facilitate energy initiatives across the continent with the head office in Abuja, Nigeria. I want to thank the Honorable Minister. A lot of people, as I said, when you do these things in the background, the multiplier effect of it, people don't really see who are the brain behind it. The Honorable Minister was the one that lobbied, did all that it takes to make sure that the African Energy Bank is situated in Nigeria. Honorable Minister, thank you very much for that. As technical and professional service providers that have just marked 3 decades of excellence in the oil and gas industry, Petroleum is excited about several final investment decisions that have been successfully closed, including Shell's $5.5 billion Bonga North deep water projects. I was with the Shell delegation last night, and we had a conversation. I said, look, if Petroleum represents 60-70% of local content capacity in Nigeria, and then the $5.5 billion projects coming up, we're not asking for 3 billion of that. We're asking for 1 billion, 1.5 billion, which is about 20-25% of that value. That's what we're asking for. And in that conversation, my executive secretary of NCDNB was there, and he's also strongly behind us in that drive. As I said, navigating the next. The next for us in these big projects is that we are participating in it across wherever that project is, whether it's deep water, shallow water, onshore. PETA members are ready to make sure we participate and continue to drive the local content goal. We also are aware that in Senegal, the LNG project in Senegal is ongoing, and also in Congo, we are aware also that the first production of LNG in Congo, has begun. So you can see clearly that this is not just Nigeria alone. It's across Africa. The awakening is there, the drive is there across the continent, that we must power our people with the energy that we need to develop ourselves. We applaud South Africa, Egypt, and Morocco, who are in the forefront of wind and solar energy development. The African continent has what it takes in human and resources capacity to exploit huge abundance of energy sources that we are naturally endowed with. We are encouraged by the strategic partnership that we have forging, including new production sharing contracts. I'm sure we are all aware that there was a big round that was just announced. It tells us exactly what is going to happen in Nigeria and also in Africa. Panoro Energy signed another agreement, PSA contract in Equatorial Guinea, and BW Energy in Gabon, highlighting how international collaborations and accelerating energy development and creating new opportunities for exploration and production. The driving force behind this ever-expanding conference that we are so proud of hosting for the past 9 years, our continued increased engagement are key to addressing the gaps that have long hindered the growth of African energy sector. And at this point, I need to put that forward, that what we are doing in local content is not in any way discouraging to our international partners. Here in Nigeria, we are all aware of it. We are collaborating with the multinational service companies in a way that is a shared value. So if you engage these international oil companies that are providing services in Nigeria, they will let you know that even their own business is growing within Nigeria. And of course, when you come to the E&P sector, the likes of ExxonMobil, Total, Snepco, Chevron, there is a lot of tenders going on right now for deep water projects. So they're not going anywhere, they are here with us, supporting us to make sure that we have that value across the chain, and ensure that we're able to retain as much value in Africa. I would like to express my gratitude to our sponsors, exhibitors, and speakers for their support and contribution to this event in our continued quest for sustainable energy solutions by Africans in Africa, for Africans, with our international partners. Our international guests, we extend a warm welcome to Nigeria and to the SAIPEC community. We look forward to learning from your experiences and sharing our perspectives with you. Let us continue to work to shape the future of oil and gas industry in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Wale Ogunsoye, FNSE, Chairman of PETA, and the CEO of Juplex Limited. Let's just give him another round of applause. Well, moving on, before I get to the next speaker, it brought to my attention that I skipped a number of countries, which means the number is more than I mentioned earlier, Chairman. So we want to apologize to our distinguished delegation from Mozambique and acknowledge their presence. Mozambique, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. I apologize. As well as our distinguished delegation from Angola. My apologies. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And then another first-time country, Zimbabwe. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, welcome. Greatly appreciate that you could come partner with Nigeria in deepening our expertise across the continent. You know, I was saying yesterday that we should come to a place where we agree if country A is skilled in this particular area, we give it to them, patronize them. If country B is like that, give it to them, patronize them, and that way we can circulate our expertise amongst ourselves as Africans and utilize it for the betterment of our people and indeed this industry we all rely heavily. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on swiftly now, we're going to go over to the host country addresses. First off, it will be from our National Oil Company Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Mele Kyari, who is not here. Let's welcome Mr. Adobo Intia, EVP Upstream of NNPC.
Good morning. Honorable Minister of State, Petroleum, Oil, and Federal Affairs, my eminent minister, reminded me this morning he owns 50% of our assets, and I'm grateful for that. I don't know if you all are aware that NNPC is a intelligence company. We are a Kama company, and Minister of Petroleum Inc. owns 50% of the company. Honorable Minister, we're grateful for that. We're grateful for your participation in our affairs, and look forward to various relationships with the organization. The SA Energy to the President here represented, the Commission Chief Executive and PRC here represented, the Executive Secretary and CDMB, Felix Mashawa, with my suit to be very good friend. I will be listening to you to talk about the number of things. Interestingly, somebody showed up at my office today with localized safety. I've never seen that before, done in Nigeria. Very, very high quality, very authentic. Opportunities about the Nigerian industry to very sure there are a number of companies here that do things locally, which we will need to partner and work with. The CEO of Uganda National Oil Company, we welcome you here today. Thank you for being here. My host, Chairman Ketan, CEO Joe Class, thank you for having me here. BOT Ketan, we welcome you, and IOC MDs, thank you for being here. I'm here instead of Mele Kyari, my principal. We really wanted to be here as an offer. We had to make a choice between being and being another place very important as well. But because I was in Lagos already, he asked me to just jump in and represent him, and he sent his very high regard. So thank you. I'm going to be reading his speech. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be here for the 9th SAIPEC aptly themed Building Africa's Future, Advancing Local Content and Sustainable Development in the Oil and Gas Industry. Africa plays a major and critical role in guaranteeing energy availability, energy affordability, and energy sustainability to boost economic growth. And the key players to achieve these are all gathered in this very important event. Everybody here is very key to achieving the theme of this conference. Geographically, Sub-Saharan Africa has an advantage to capitalize on the advancements we have made in the oil and gas industry to meet our energy demands, to guarantee energy supply, to reduce import dependency, to expand our economies, and overall build a sustainable future for millions of people beyond our shores. Indeed, the global energy landscape is dynamic and changing as the years go by. One aspect of the global dialogue on energy is unquestionable. Energy plays a critical role in society, in human growth, in people's quality of life. This statement still holds true now and will continue to do so. As we see the landscape begin to change across the globe in terms believe this conference is really going to help champion some of the things we do that will help benefit and contribute to that discussion. So I once again welcome everybody here. To redefine the energy landscape for a sustainable energy future, we need to focus on several key areas such as energy transition, energy efficiency, energy investments, cost efficiency, gas and renewable energy development. Other key enablers will be policy and regulatory support, regional collaboration, and training, as well as technology, innovation, and research. NNPC Limited is also investing heavily in critical gas infrastructure such as the Ajaokuta-Abuja carbon pipeline, the gas pipeline. Actually, I was in Kogi State 2 weeks ago for the launch of 5 key LNG plants that are going to be coming up in that neighborhood. It's going to serve all the way from Kogi all the way up to Kano, providing energy, providing gas, compatible gas to companies, to industries, and also to individuals in that space. That's a huge venture. We're also involved in the UB-free gas interconnector to support 5 BCF of gas a day of domestic gas utilization, including 5 gigawatts of power generation capacity by developing power plant projects along the AKK pipeline corridor and also across the country to complement the existing ones. Though oil and gas remains a significant component of energy, the global energy mix will remain so even in the next 50 years. NNPC Limited is working towards increasing production by unlocking more opportunities across the oil and gas value chain, across gas infrastructure development, CNG market penetration, increasing refining capacity, and driving sustainability initiatives. To achieve success in the oil and gas business, there is a need to balance energy transition, to balance market realities and energy security, to have them driven largely by availability of indigenous resources, strengthening local content, indigenous capacity development, regional cooperation and collaboration. For the gas export markets, the ongoing LNG Train 7 will expand Nigeria's LNG production capacity to about 30 million tons per annum. This is in addition to the planned Nigeria, Morocco, and Trans-Sahara gas pipeline projects, which will supply gas to regional African countries and subsequently and consequently to Europe. This gathering presents an excellent opportunity for member countries to convene, to network, and discuss shared goals, initiatives, investment opportunities for cooperation, create a common platform that will effectively tackle issues and accomplish shared objectives. Distinguished audience, we will continue to further deepen collaboration amongst all the relevant stakeholders, which will require provision of adequate and timely investments to build resilient energy systems capable of delivering energy to support socio-economic development in a sustainable manner in the African continent and beyond. There's a lot to be done. There's a lot of discussions that will be held here. Please be participatory. You're not just attending, we're all participating to make sure we gain the value that the hosts, Peter, have done a great job to bring all of us together. So I encourage you all to be open-minded, listen to innovation, listen to ideas, and we hope to push this industry forward to greater heights and development. Thank you very much and have a great conference.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dobbin, Executive Vice President upstream of the NNPC Limited, speaking there on behalf of his principal, Mr. Medley Kolokiali. Among Amongst the Ugandan delegation is the regulator of the Ugandan industry, who is joining us, of the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. Indulge me to acknowledge Madam Penina. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. She's the regulator, the equivalent of our NUPRC and of course the authority out there in Uganda. Thank you so much for joining us. Moving on now, we go over to our next speaker. You heard the chairman, be a past speaker, allude to his commitment in office since he's taking this position, one of which is defending Nigeria and Africa's interest on the global stage and helping the Africa Energy Bank see the light of day by virtue of a location that is situated here in Nigeria. We'll listen to him for his address. At this time, please welcome distinguished Senator Heineke Lokobri, Honorable Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Oil.
Thank you. Good morning to everybody here. Let me, first of all, say that I'm honored to be here today. And you may remember, last year, I had no opportunity to be here because president and I was not elected. So I made up my mind that no matter the commitments I may have today, I'm very glad. Let me first of all recognize, all of you that are here, no particular order, recognize, Executive Secretary of the Conference, recognize EVP upstream, recognize President Chairman, recognize, representative of NPRC, representative of SA Energy, those from, other African countries who are here, and welcome all of you to Nigeria. It's very heartwarming, to see people from other countries coming here to see what Nigeria, has done as far as the country is concerned. Nigeria, has developed enormous capacity as far as the country is concerned. And this started with the journey of, some of us were in the Senate. I was a member of the National Assembly, in 2010, when we conceived the idea that for us to grow, the energy sector, we must develop local capacity. Nobody will come to Nigeria to develop, nobody will come to Africa to develop Africa, except we play our role, ensuring that, we have energy security in Africa. So we came up with the idea of passing a law, and that law has been in existence for the past 16 years. We made mistakes in the course of implementation. We've also grown enormous capacity. And that's why I don't have any hesitation telling the global world, global stage, that even when there are divestments, those who are acquiring these companies have enormous capacity to be able to sustain the growth, the continuous existence of these companies. With federal governments losing enough, we'll get the royalties, we'll get the jobs secured, and we'll continue to grow our production. But that doesn't mean I want to take mistakes. And I'm saying this specifically so that other African countries that are here today will not make the mistake that Nigeria made. When I became minister, one of the issues I was confronted with has to do with, the multinational service companies all exist in Nigeria. But they want one. Except maybe, this is Italian company, what is it? Chevron from Chevron. SAIPEC. That was the one that was around. So we had a situation where there was a problem. The other big boys, the Slumberjays, and Buttons, the Thomas, all of them have gone. All of you here in better. Have your own good days in these companies. That was where you started from. That was where you actually developed the capacity. But the space is big enough to accommodate everything. We have onshore, we have shallow water, we have deep water. Deep water, as of today, is beyond the capacity of better members. And so what African countries that are here today, you have a peculiar, benefit of knowing the mistakes that we made in Nigeria to the what happened when the major service companies left was because they felt that there was humanity that was promoted. I don't remember they don't want to hear this, but I need to tell you. The opportunity I have as minister today is I can query you, I can say anything and nobody can query me. But the idea, behind this type of forum is for us to share ideas. It's for us, to do our peer review. To say, look, this is what we've done in this country, it's what the mistakes we made. So that when you go back to your own countries, you do not make mistakes. I've always told my colleagues in Africa, one with me, to say, look, come to Nigeria, come and learn from us. Nigeria is leading oil and gas producer in Africa. We will continue to do so because we have developed enormous capacity. That didn't happen by accident, or by deliberate commitment on the part of federal members, deliberate commitment on the part of government. And that is why you see the offices of some federal members, international service companies. Offices are bigger, 2-3 times bigger than the offices of their employees and some of these big companies. And I'm very happy that that is happening. But that doesn't mean that they can do what these big companies can do. That's what I'm saying, that we have to coexist. Our production, our cost of services was also very high. Because at some point in time, local companies will have to take them. And then now, outsource them to the international oil companies. Thereby the cost became too high. And that led the president to sign an executive order that practically outlawed middlemen. You don't need to be middlemen. You have enough that you can do. All of our production is from multinational. And by PIE, so many marginal things are already in the basket, ready to, ready to be concessioned to you. So they can actually develop them and grow. So you don't need to be a middleman to go and take a job that you cannot do, take small money, and then give it to the big boys to go and do it. At the end of the day, the cost is borne by government. All these costs we talk about, we find the problem removed. When the deputy is in the joint venture, with the oil companies, the cost is first of all removed first, before we talk about any other share. And so what I like is that the federal government bears the cost. And that was where we are doing a situation where we advise the president to let's have an executive order so that we remove what we call the demands. We're too big for that. You can operate as a right, you have capacity, and we'll support you in any way we can to continue to sustain your capacity. You will agree with me that Africa's problem is energy poverty. Our problem is different from, other continents in the world. For those in the global north, they call themselves the global north, but the global south. New grammar. And we are contested to say, how? Why did you say we're global south? You're global north. And nobody has been able to do it to myself. But for those in the global north, they have exhibited the highest level of democracy. I've had the privilege of attending so many, events, and then across the world, and anywhere you go, they talk about transition. Meanwhile, they are not slowing down the emissions. The entire African continent contributes only 3.something% of global emissions. Only UK alone contributes about 4.8%. You think China and America contribute over 50%. But the industries that are causing the emissions, they are not shutting them down. But they want you to stop production first of all. Well, at the same time, they are expanding their investment in fossil. All of you knew that Norway is ramping up production. The UK gave a few years ago over 100 licenses for new exploration.
That's right.
With the mention of Trump said,
Real baby.
drill, then drill. But they tell you to stop investment in fossil. I was very happy in South Africa when somebody said, we found ourselves in a situation where, Bush Khalifa, 160 something, floors, those in the global north are taking the lift to the top floor, and the Africa take the stairs. By the time they take the stairs to 160 something floors, they're already passed out. But when this is going on, they are saying that do not invest in fossil fuel. We will give you support. Africa doesn't need handouts. What Africa needs is investment. What Africa needs is partnership. All the materials we use for, most of the materials that we use for, alternative sources of energy, solar, is from Africa. People who come from China, skill and lithium. Go to Congo, the skill and raw materials. The time has come for Africa to develop our local content capacity so that we can address our energy security problems ourselves in that own way. The big challenge we have has to do with funding, which the better Germans talk about. And so we, as ministers in Africa, we came up with and home grown solution. We say, look, the time has come for us as Africans to find solutions for ourselves. Because all the pledges made in Paris have not been built. Every year they say they're going to spend or they're going to grant support of about $100 billion. A promise is not a crime. If I promise to give you money and I don't give you, you can't even sue me. You can sanction me. There's nothing you can do. This is global politics. We have discovered that there is no sincerity to redeem this commitment. I just came from Davos a few weeks ago, and I was one of the panels with 600 ministers from Brazil, from Saudi Arabia, from other countries. And then it was, the forum where we're trying to see how we can leverage on South Africa's presidency of the G20 to be able to support authority to energy security. And someone said that he was a sick that he been their pledges, and I told them that I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for over 30 years. A promise is a promise. A promise is not a contract. And so when there's a breach of contract, you can sue someone. But when there's a breach of promise, you can't sue the person. The promise to give you money, I say sorry, I promise to provide our money. I change my mind. There's nothing I do. So let Africans that are gathered here today, those who are not here today, know that the solution to Africa's energy problems lie with Africans. And it begins with developing local content, which Nigeria has done very well. And I'm happy that better has been hosting this thing for the past 9 years, and I think it will continue. So that you afford opportunities to African countries to come here and learn what we have done and improve on what we have achieved. For us in Africa, the African Energy Bank is a solution. The African Energy Bank is good to go. This is a bank that will start with about $5 billion, contributed between member countries and African Bank. And African Bank has said they are going to, as part of the agreement, they will see their oil and gas portfolios of that bank. And the last meeting I had with President Rama in South Africa was that the exposure to oil and gas is about $13-14 billion. If you add that to the $5 billion, it's about $19 billion. And the projections are that by the next 4 or 5 years, this bank will grow an asset base of up to $120 billion. That is the way to go. We want people to come and invest in that bank. We want sustainable investment, not promises that they can never get. And so we are very proud that as part of our commitments, to host the African Energy Bank headquarters, the building is ready. We are going to finish in touch to the thanks to anyhow, that helped us acquire the building. And a beautiful building, the best you can find in Africa. And our own projection is that this bank will take up by this quarter. This is February. We believe that by the end of this quarter, this bank will formally kick off. So you don't need to go elsewhere to look for funding. You need to look inward in Africa to look for funding. And we're also calling on African heads of state to bring all their funds they have in investments outside the country. Bring it and invest in this sector. If we have to solve a problem of energy poverty, with 600 million having no electricity, there is no way we can industrialize. And without industrialization, we can never go. The world will go and leave Africa. Yeah. But I was the one country where they said they wanted to give Africa $30 million to help mitigate our problems of cooking. That about 900 million people have no means of clean cooking. $30 million. If they share it among Nigeria, everybody will get come. That's not what we need. What we need is investment. And then bring substantial resources and invest. So that Nigerians can buy, Africans can buy the energy at an affordable rate. For cooking, instead of saying you want to give a $10 million. I mean, people can do that. The time has come for shared efforts. The time has come for all African countries to come together and find a common solution to our own energy problems. For me, I don't intend to bore you, too much longer, but I can assure you that this grammar of energy transition is just geopolitics. For those of you who are in the oil and gas sector, please feel free. Let us follow Trump. Please. Let us first of all solve our energy poverty problems before we talk about transition. If we ask people to transition now, what are you transitioning for? There's no energy in my village. So if I tell those information, they know myself to transition. What are you transitioning from? From one poverty to another poverty? No. So we have abundance of hydrocarbon resources. We also have substantial investment in oil and gas already. And I've also contended that we need the money for oil and gas to be able to finance our energy mix. So let's do what other countries are doing by investing and expanding their investment. And we know the problem. Problem is funding. But for those of you who have been able to, create a enormous fortune for oil and gas, please bring your money from the British Virgin Islands, from wherever you are keeping your money, come and invest in the African Energy Bank. The returns will be better. You also be contributing to solving our problem of energy security in Africa. So let me conclude by saying that, look, as Africans, we have a choice to continue, with the poverty that we are used to, or, we change the narrative for the benefit of our children. And so as Africans, as we gathered here in this, this year's conference, I believe that it's important for us, to promote regional collaboration, African collaboration. Let's share ideas, let's see how we can develop technologies. And we have institutions that can also help in that direction. Recently, I went to the UK with the Attorney General of Federation, to sign MOU with 3 universities in the UK. So that we can train people like a PhD level as part of our efforts to grow our capacity in Africa. The TDF used to send people to the UK, to France, to Germany, for studies. But because of the exchange rate, we knew that the money was not enough for many people. So we had to think innovatively. So we decided that instead of sending people to the UK, let's create a university by the PTDF. So in 2003, PTDF created a university called the College of Petroleum and Energy Studies. And at that point, into partnership with 3 universities in the US at the doctorate level for now. They will stay in Nigeria and end up in the UK. And they will be awarded the UK University certificate. So it's different. So that one, the agreement is that we're going to pay less school fees. It also affords us the opportunity to train more people. If we give somebody in the UK £800 for upgrade, you will struggle. Give somebody £200 there. You will live like a big man. This is what the idea of. We have concluded, the signing of the MOU, and that program will start this year. We have the PTI that has been there for a while. These are institutions that are there to be able to train you and our quest to be workers. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's also important that, we invest in innovation and challenge those who have so much money to say, look, why are we not investing in carbon capture? Everybody is saying that, look, we will carbon credit, do this. No. You guys who are responsible for the emissions, invest in technologies that can capture the emissions in the sky. And they are not investing in it because they continue to. They need more, carbon dioxide into the air. And they tell you to stop your work. We that are victims, 3% as a continent, victims. They want us to stop meanwhile they are, in fact, expanding their work. But we should also take the lead by developing technologies. There's no institution in the world, whether in America or in Europe, where you don't have Africans who have broken ground. And I believe that we should start here to see how we can also develop technologies to help the world. So that we can boast and sell those technologies to the rest of the world. But I believe that is very, very important. It's also important that, we also try and create a very transparent civil environment as African countries. That is where the investments come. I've had an opportunity to engage global leaders, and they say the problem with Africa, particularly in Nigeria, is that we are not sure what funds will come from. You may wake up one morning, you will come up with cash money. Somebody who has nothing to do with oil and gas, you wake up one morning, say that, okay, I understand. When you get it, when you cannot spend it for 3 months. After 3 months, you can only spend you can only spend half of the money, the rest you come and get that program. Not the loan, no. Your own money. It doesn't happen anyway. Or you wake up one morning, one statement is made from a ministry to say anybody who operates a corporate services anywhere in Nigeria, whether in the high sea, you will pay a fee. Is it your own? Is the platform your own? There has to be consistency. There has to be predictability. People who want to invest in the nation want to predict the environment. Otherwise, we will have a problem. Everybody wants to come to Nigeria. When everybody thinks about investment in Africa, they think about Nigeria first. But for us to sustain our leadership, we have to be predictable. We also do things that are global economy. So this afternoon, I will have the privilege of talking to my colleagues in the economic management team on how, we can improve on our global competition, how we can attract more investment and sustain this investment. And you and I know that tomorrow, oil and gas is still the solution to our problems. Anywhere you look at it, bulk of our revenue still comes from our forest, still comes from oil and gas. But we are very happy that as the government when we came, we were very big in $1 million. Today we are doing 1.8. How we can do more? And those who are responsible for this are more from local. And that's why I'm saying that, look, we need to come together and continue on this trajectory. Let's finish this journey that we are doing together. $1 million, we have achieved 80%. That is short. I want to see how we can do 2.5 to $3 million this year. And we can do it. I was talking to someone and the person told me that one of what we produce is condensate. But because of putting the condensate and crude in the same container, all is now branded crude oil. If you properly, dedicate some reservoirs in our terminals for condensate and dedicate others to crude oil, 1, 2, 3 million, I will say between money and 1.5 million. So we are not having any problem about that. We'll be able to meet our local domestic supply obligations, and the companies can also meet their obligations. Ladies and gentlemen, you are the leaders and the industry, but please work with us as government to see how we can provide that leadership that other African countries need in terms of local capacity. I want to thank you for the opportunity given to me. But please, our journey in Nigeria has not got to the finish line. In fact, we are just started. So work with me, and together we can get to the destination. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the single Senator Heineken Ogri, the Minister of Petroleum Resources, for making a case for drill, baby, drill. Yes, that's something that the likes of NJ Ayub has also been pushing for years now. So we must drill, baby, drill. Anyway, time is fast spent. Let us speak through what is left of this. I'd like to now welcome the upstream regulator, the Commission Chief Executive Engineer Bega Komolafe FNC of Nigeria's Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, who is not here. Let's welcome Engineer Amadasu FNC, the Executive Commissioner for Development and Production, who is speaking on his behalf. A round of applause for our regulator.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here this morning. I bring things from the Commission Chief Executive, Engineer Bega Komolafe. The Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, His Excellency Senator Henry King, the SA Energy, ably represented by Mr. Taj Subajo, the Executive Secretary, MCDMB, Engineer Felix Obe, GCO NNPCL, ably represented by the Executive Vice President Upstream, Chairman Penta, Mr. Wale Musai, delegates from other African countries, captains of the industry, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. This is the message from the Commission Chief Executive, and I'm going to be delivering in a short while. Distinguished guests, esteemed delegates, and industry leaders, I am delighted and privileged to address this prestigious gathering at the 9th Penta Sub-Saharan Africa International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference, SAIPEC. I extend my gratitude to the Petroleum Technology Association of Nigeria, PENTA, for their remarkable efforts in fostering innovation and local value creation in the oil and gas industry. As we convey to deliberate on the transformative journey in the African oil and gas sector, we are reminded of the sector's pivotal role in African economic development. Indeed, SAIPEC has been instrumental in showcasing the region's abundant resources, promoting innovative practices, and fostering dialogue on the future of oil and gas in the global energy mix. By facilitating collaboration and knowledge exchange, SAIPEC continue to drive progress in African energy sector, ensuring the continent remains a vital player in the global energy business. I warmly welcome our distinguished guests, particularly from Côte d'Ivoire, Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Mozambique, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Uganda, and other sister nations. Together, we gather again to chart a course for sustainable growth in African oil and gas industry and the shifting energy landscape. So I'm here in the church. I'm sure the industry is listening, will follow suit. But we are only trying to put a balance. Nigeria's transformative journey in the oil and gas sector. This growth is clearly reflected in Nigeria's journey, which began with the discovery of oil in Wembley in 1956. Since then, the country has built a strong foundation of technical expertise and human capacity that has driven the advancement of hydrocarbon resources across sub-Saharan Africa. Over the decades, Nigeria has evolved from being a mere oil producer to a nation dedicated to maximizing the value of its hydrocarbon resources. The enactment of the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA 2021, stands as a testament of Nigeria's commitment to fostering transparency, efficiency, and innovation in the sector. This landmark legislation has further reinforced governance and transparency, paving the way for for initiatives that aim to transform Nigeria into a leading hub for global energy investments. It solidifies Nigeria's position as a key player and trailblazer in Africa's energy landscape, with a focus on adopting advanced oil recovery techniques, robust field development programs, and resource optimization strategies, among others. Complementing these efforts in government's renewed commitments to environmental stewardship, exemplified by initiatives like the Nigeria Gas Flare Transition Program, which aims to eliminate gas flare by 2030, as well as the pledge to achieve net zero carbon emission by 2060. These initiatives highlight Nigeria's dedication to leading in the sustainable energy practices while maintaining its competitiveness in the global markets. The Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission (NPRC) plays a pivotal role in advancing these efforts, ensuring the successful implementation of the PIA through forward-thinking regulations and guidelines, creating an enabling environment for investment and driving adoption of innovative technologies. Together, these actions underscore Nigeria's unwavering commitment to sustainability and optimizing its energy resources. Investments in Nigeria. Nigeria's vast reserves of oil and gas, estimated at 39.5 billion barrels of oil and 209.26 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, with significant upside potential, are complemented by a wealth of renewable energy potential, including solar, wind, and biomass. Additionally, our youthful population of over 200 million, projected to grow significantly by 2050, represent a dynamic workforce and economic assets. These attributes position Nigeria as a leading investment destination, offering unparalleled economic opportunities across the energy value chain. Ladies and gentlemen, the global energy landscape is experiencing an unprecedented transition. I know HM also talked about this, but I just have to also talk about it. According to the IEA 2024 World Energy Investments reports, investment in clean energy now surpass fossil fuel funding by a 2-to-1 ratio, with overall energy investment exceeding $3 million USD for the first time. Despite this, projection from OPEC, the IEA, BP, and ExxonMobil confirm that fossil fuel will continue to play a key role in the global energy mix for the foreseeable future, particularly driven by urbanization, population growth, and economic expansion in the developing region. Oil and gas are expected to supply over half of global energy needs by 2050, with natural gas projected to play a critical role as a transition fuel. In light of these projections, Africa must strategically position itself to leverage its abundant energy resources to meet domestic and global demands. This effort requires a deliberate balance between energy equity, inclusivity, and sustainability, ensuring a just transition that benefits our economics and people. We'll talk about African oil and gas opportunities and challenges. African oil and gas resources represent immense opportunities for growth, for economic growth and energy security. Gas development in particular is a cornerstone of Africa's energy future. Natural gas not only provides a cleaner energy alternative, but also serves as a critical component of global energy security. Projects such as Nigeria's gas commercialization initiatives and cross-border pipeline development exemplify the continent's potential to become a global leader in natural gas production and exports. However, the continent faces challenges including infrastructural gaps and the need for significant investments in oil and gas, as well as in other energy and mineral resources. Tackling this problem call for robust collaboration, particularly driven by the funding constraint driven by climate-related concerns. In response, the NUPRC took a proactive step in 2024 by leading the formation of Africa Petroleum Regulatory Forum, AFRIPA. This forum brings together regulatory bodies from across Africa to foster knowledge sharing, adopt best practices, and present a unified voice on the global stage. Interestingly, the first announcement of the AFRIPEC Foundation occurred in February 2024 during the 8th SAIPEC. This was followed by the official inauguration in June 2024 during the NOG events. This inauguration meeting also serves as an important platform for engaging stakeholders, extending best practices, and discussing the future of oil and gas industry in the region. AFRIPEC is structured with a robust governance framework consisting of an executive committee, a technical committee, and a secretariat. It is proposed that the executive committee meets biannually to shape policies that align AFRIPEC's objectives with the evolving needs of the industry. Additionally, the technical committee will meet on a quarterly basis to ensure the continuous advancement of AFRIPEC's initiatives with focus on training and technical programs. The Secretariat at the NUPRC will continue to play a key role in coordinating and supporting the AFRIPEC's activities and ensuring the effective implementation of its goals. Since its establishment in 2024, AFRIPEC has made a strong and promising start towards driving progress within the oil and gas sector across Nigeria and Africa. In November 2024, AFRIPEC members held a virtual meeting that resulted in the creation of AFRIPEC Chapter, establishing a strong foundation and clearly defining the future direction of the regulatory forum. Looking ahead, the next major AFRIPEC event will be at next meeting, expected later this month, which will feature in-depth discussion on the future of African energy sector. It will also showcase key case study presentations that will provide valuable insights into Africa oil and gas journey, highlighting key lessons learned, challenges faced, and opportunities for growth. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, Africa is a continent of immense energy potential, boasting approximately 125 billion barrels of proven oil reserves, with nations such as Nigeria, Angola, and Libya playing pivotal roles in the global oil markets. The continent's natural gas reserves are equally impressive, estimated at 620 trillion cubic feet, with major contributions from Algeria, Egypt, Nigeria, and the emerging producers like Mozambique, Tanzania, Senegal, Mauritania, Equatorial Guinea, Libya, Uganda, and Ghana. Furthermore, Africa is rich in critical minerals, including cobalt and platinum, which are vital to the global energy transition. AFRIPEC is uniquely positioned to unlock the full potential of these vast oil, gas, and mineral resources through initiatives aimed at strengthening regulatory institutions, harmonizing standards, and advocating for African energy priorities. AFRIPEC will drive investments, optimize resource management, and ensure sustainable growth by promoting collaboration and innovation among its members. AFRIPEC will also facilitate the integration of new renewable energy, establishing Africa as a leading force in the global energy transition while maximizing the value of its abundant natural resources. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by reiterating that the path to unlocking Africa's vast energy resources lies in the power of collaboration. By working together, we can transform Africa into a global energy leader, maximizing the value of oil and gas and other mineral resources, while embracing a sustainable future through innovation and unity. As we strengthen our regulatory framework, harmonize standards, and advocate for African energy priorities, we not only unlock resources, but we also create a legacy of growth, empowerment, and shared prosperity. To echo the work of Peter Drucker, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Let us come together with unwavering determination to turn Africa's energy potential into a reality that will fuel a brighter future for all. Let us harness our collective knowledge and resources to drive Africa's energy revolution and light the path to a prosperous future. I welcome you once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Lagos, Nigeria, and wish every one of us fruitful deliberation that will shape the future of Africa's energy sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Anderson. FNSE is the Executive Commissioner to Development and Production of the Nigerian Offshore Drilling Commission, speaking on behalf of the CCE. Let's give them another round of applause.
Sorry.
Technical, you have a video to play for me now, ladies and gentlemen. Indulge us for the next 5 minutes and let's share with you a documentary, a short one, of some of the successes of Pattern. It's 30 years, by the way, we're celebrating our Pattern this year. Technical, this way.
Resources, provide oils, and but as the continent's energy demands continue to grow, it is clear that a new era of energy cooperation and innovation is needed. One organization at the forefront of this effort is CENTER, the organizers of the Sub-Saharan African International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference, SAIPEC.
So what we say is, look, it's a lot easier for us as African brothers to learn from each other than being exploited by some of the multinational companies across Africa. We are experiencing it. So this is what we're telling our African brothers. Look, we have one of the multinational companies that celebrated their 70th anniversary in Nigeria. In my conversation with the oil minister of Namibia, I said, look, if you have projects in Africa, let's say that project is in Namibia, and it's a Ghanaian African company that have capacity to support the Namibian company, just the same capacity as the company in Europe and some other continents, we should give priority to the African partnership. We have to deliver the barrels. We have to deliver the gas. We're not asking to cost standards. We're not asking to measure the different scale. We're saying where Africans can collaborate, we should collaborate for the sake of the continent to speed up know-how, which, fortunately for us in Nigeria, a bit ahead of our African brothers. And that's why you see us, Pattern companies, working in these countries and collaborating with them. So you're going to see a lot of that at this SAIPEC. You see, you have opportunities, various programs to see collaborations among African countries. You'll be seeing a lot of technology development, a lot of our members exhibiting their technology.
technology. And you even see papers on research and development, how we can ensure Africa is energy independent, in the near future.
SAIPEC decided to provide a platform for petroleum professionals to come together, share knowledge, and drive business opportunities. Africa's energy landscape is diverse complex.
All right.
To fuels to meet the energy.
I stopped it to play later. There's a technical hitch. If we're going to lose audio in some part, let's pause it and play it later. In show business, the show must go on, right? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on from that video now. As I said, we'll find time to play later. Maybe if we achieve what I have set on my next speakers before the top of the hour, just before we rise for the exhibition, we'll cue it again from where it stopped. That's from the Vice Chairman's video. You cue it from there and take it to the end, right? Just before we leave the exhibition. But for now, we will listen to our next speaker. And this next speaker is the CEO of Nigeria's federal government's most efficient agency for the lending business, according to the Presidential Lending Business Council. Please welcome the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Engineer Felix Olakobi, FNSE, as he addresses us.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to start with my respect to my minister, Senator Henry's local group, and same time chairman of my board council. Our host, the president of PETAN, Engineer Wole, also special advisor to the president, Commission Chief Executive, NUPRC, country delegates from sister African countries represented here, GCO NNPC Limited, here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be a part of this year's 9th Sub-Saharan African National Petroleum Exhibition and Conference. As this is my first time attending this prestigious event, it is truly an honor to deliver this keynote address to the distinguished gathering. I commend the organizers, PETAN, for bringing together key stakeholders to discuss the shape, the future of petroleum. The focus of Sub-Saharan African local content collaborative strategy is both relevant and it is crucial. As a global oil and gas continue to evolve, it is imperative for the region to adopt a unified approach in strengthening local content development, advancing industrialization and fostering sustainable economic growth to the continent. Over the years, sub-Saharan African nations have notable strides in local content development, with countries like Nigeria, Angola, Ghana, Uganda implementing policies to boost indigenous participation in oil and gas sector. However, fragmented implementation continues to hinder collective progress. A collective strategy among sub-Saharan nations will foster and share of better practices and enhance border participations that can drive the competitiveness of our indigenous players. The key pillar to African collaboration strategy must include the following: harmonization of local content policy, human capital development, investment in infrastructure, provision of funds for local companies and technology transfer. First, any collaboration strategy is dead on arrival if the comprehensive legal framework isn't developed to guide sustainable growth. Hence, there is a need to develop a robust local content framework that positions the region for long-term economic prosperity. This can be fostered through collaborative efforts of APO and the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa and the African Union. In this regard, the African Continent Free Trade Zone Agreement, NAFTA, is one of the critical legal framework that can be leveraged to achieve collaborative local content strategy in Africa. The advent of African Continental Free Trade Zone creates the world's largest free trade area by integrating 1.3 billion people across 54 African countries with the objective of tapping into the combined gross domestic product of over 3 trillion. There has also been a recent trend of breaking down borders on the continent, which has seen countries like Rwanda, Kenya implementing visa-free entry for all African citizens. The importance of this cannot be overstated, as mobility of skilled labor is critical for fostering sustainable development. Secondly, the human capital development is a pivot to the successful implementation of local content. Teeming youth populations in Africa provide a unique opportunity for fast-track development. For instance, approximately 60% of African population is currently under the age of 25, while Asian population stands at 25%, while Europe and Asian youth population are expected to decline by the year 2100. African youth population is expected to rise. A large young workforce can drive economic expansion through increasing productivity and consumption. African youth population presents an opportunity to enhance this demography dividends for accelerated economic growth. Thirdly, is the investment in infrastructure has a significant impact on the economic growth of any nation. For instance, the Dangote refinery and petrochemical company, with the installed capacity of 650,000 barrels per day, will afford Nigeria and other African countries a partnership opportunity for sourcing petroleum products and fertilizer. We must promote similar projects across the continent and leverage on collaborations to deliver. Also, Kenya Koza Technology City, Grand Ethiopian Dam, Lake Free Zone, and other facilities like Samsung FPSO fabrication and integration yard in Lagos present opportunity for collaboration for the movement of goods and services and construction of FPSO and other offshore oil and gas facilities. Nigerian oil and gas industrial parks we are developing in SCDMB across several locations in Nigeria represent one of the ways we are providing infrastructure for the manufacturing of equipment, components and spare parts for several local and regional markets. We are on track to complete major construction works at these sites by the end of the year. Let me use this opportunity to invite interested businesses and investors in the area of manufacturing in any of these industrial parks to contact the board for allocation of plots for development. It is hoped that the infrastructure will reduce import dependency, promote inter-African trade and enhance competitiveness of local businesses. Next is the provision of funding. Provision of funding for this grand plan is a key to sustainability. A regional fund or financial framework that provide credit facilities, guarantees, and investment incentive which strengthen indigenous firms. During the 8th African Petroleum Congress and exhibition held in Rwanda, Angola, the African Petroleum Producers Organization (APO) signed a memorandum of understanding with the African Export-Import Bank for the creation of African Energy Bank to address the financial challenges of oil and gas products, which my minister has already talked about. I'm happy to announce that SCDMB has supported the effort of APO to establish the African Energy Bank from concessional stage to date. With the approval of our minister, we have taken equity investment. When operational, the African Energy Bank will foster the development of major energy projects across Africa. We must collectively support this initiative.
Yes.
Finally, encouraging joint ventures, research and collaboration and technology sharing agreements among African nations will drive the adoption of cutting-edge solutions and indigenous technology advancement in African economy. At SCDMB, our collaboration with industry practitioners and various stakeholders group has led us to remarkable performance in the implementation of 10 years strategic roadmap. We are currently at 56% Nigerian content, with indication pointing at our capacity to achieve the target of 70% Nigerian content by the year 2027. We continue to render support to sister African nations as they develop their unique local content framework. I'm pleased to note that we signed an MOU with the Republic of Senegal last year to this effect. This collaboration agreement with key countries is not just for papers, but seen as a tangible business-to-business partnership in Senegal, Ghana, Uganda, Mozambique, Angola, and other African countries. SCDMB remains committed to facilitating such business-to-business partnership in more countries across Africa. Locally, the board has developed an initiative called Back to Pay. This is a strategic project aimed at revitalizing educational infrastructures in Nigerian oil and gas regions, especially those impacted by the oil and gas activities. It focuses on equipping the youth in host communities with the skills needed to meet industrial demand. that is supporting the local content drive. In the process, we will be launching vocational training and strengthening community-focused initiative. This initiative aligns closely with the mandate of our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFRO, to create an enabling environment for businesses to strive. Indeed, on 28 February 2024, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu demonstrated bold leadership and commitment to transforming Nigerian investment climate by signing the executive order aimed at positioning the country as Africa's top destination for petroleum sector investment. In a decisive move, the President directed the reduction of contracting cycle for oil and gas projects from 36 months to a maximum of 6 months. This landmark directive has significantly accelerated project approvals, eliminating bureaucratic bottlenecks and strengthening investment confidence, resulting to swift execution of oil and gas projects. Under his leadership, remarkable success, with over 4 FIDs achieved in the past year alone. In the running of our will emphasize that all stakeholders have a role to play in the collaboration drive. Government will foster an enabling environment by enacting policies, support regional integration, local content growth. Regulatory must create mechanisms and mutual recognition of standards and certification. Industrial players must embrace strategy, partnership, knowledge sharing, and joint ventures to drive local content development. Financial institutions should provide tailored financial solutions that enable individuals' participation in large-scale projects. And finally, the academia and research institute must collaborate on industrial-driven research, innovations, and skill development initiatives. As we deliberate on the future of the petroleum industry in sub-Saharan Africa, let us recognize that sustainable local content development cannot be achieved in isolation. By working together, we can create a formidable and self-reliant petroleum sectors that drive long-term benefits for our economy, businesses, and people. The time to act is now. Let us harness our collective strength, build a strategic alliance, drive from the transformations of African oil and gas industry through an integrated and collaborative local content approach. I look forward to insightful discussion and meaningful engagement throughout this conference. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much, Engineer Phillips Amatola, FNSE, Executive Secretary Nigeria Content Development Monitor. Yes, please, another round of applause for him. There's a country I'm told here that I didn't mention earlier as well, Namibia. Please, a warm welcome to you, and my apologies for skipping that out here. Namibia is here. Please give another round of applause. Thank you so much, Namibia. Thank you. All right. We're making good progress. The International Gas Union is the global representative of the gas industry. Nigeria continues to increase our gas utilization, earning admiration from such. And better displaying their part in that regard. Hence, we'll have this IG good message that will come on your screen for the next few minutes. It is from the Secretary General of the IGU, Mr. Benaros Yitros. Technical, let's listen to Mr. Yitros.
Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you today from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where the IGU is currently holding our executive committee meetings. And I wish I was there with you as SAIPEC 2025 is a significant event in advancing the regional industry debate on the future of fossil fuels in the global energy mix. Gas has long been fundamental to human progress and global growth in both mature and developing markets. Its abundance, multiple applications, from heat to power to transportation, and role as a key feedstock of industries have enabled economies worldwide to grow and improve people's lives. At the forefront of all this has been the gas industry's relentless focus on innovation, efficiency, reliability, and supply flexibility. Gas can also serve as an immediately available, reliable, and sustainable energy poverty break, allowing hundreds of millions of people across the African continent to have access to clean cooking, power, and clean air. Looking around the world, we see conflicts, inflationary pressures, increases in the cost of capital, geopolitical risks, and significant changes to governments, as we have recently observed. And most importantly, the voice of consumers who, while wanting a more sustainable future, do not necessarily want to pay for it or can afford it. Improvement of their lives, jobs, healthcare, housing, and security are issues that are at the top of their concerns. We need to have tough conversations about the reality of the energy transition and decarbonization, as well as about meeting the current climate targets on the path to net zero. Gas is an enabler of renewable energy and has a direct role in tackling its intermittency and reliability. Of course, we need a more sustainable future, but we must do so justly and orderly. Africa needs access to secure, affordable, reliable, and clean energy today so that it can meet its energy needs while meeting its climate pledges tomorrow. Gas can also be an energy poverty break platform for people who do not have access to modern energy in their everyday lives. Gas goes beyond light and cooking. It can also enable economic growth and prosperity, lifting societies worldwide, including the 56 countries of Africa. Almost 3/4 of Africa's population does not have access to clean cooking facilities, and the cost of premature deaths from air pollution is estimated to be nearly 90% of Africa's GDP. The calls and demands imposed on Africa to decarbonize its energy system, reach net zero, and switch to renewables lack an understanding of the issues faced in Africa. It is currently estimated that $400 billion of investment will be required to increase electricity transmission and distribution in Africa by 2050 alone. Therefore, the decarbonization of Africa's energy system is unlikely to happen without the existence of an energy infrastructure that can, as a minimum, provide electricity across the continent. Today's world leaders and legislators need to understand the role of gas in the planet's sustainable future and its importance in just energy transition. Leveraging natural gas is the first, the most important, or the fundamental first step towards solving Africa's energy crisis and its path towards a more sustainable future. Simply switching from coal to natural gas can result in as much as 50% CO2 emissions reductions in the first 8 months of 2024 alone, after importing almost 10 million metric tons of coal. And if we are to really talk numbers, the quantity of burned coal resulted in over 26 million tons of CO2 emissions. Your continent holds 13% of the world's natural gas reserves, and deregulating the energy sector, creating public-private partnerships, and adopting legal and regulatory reforms that can play a critical role in mobilizing private capital to help Africa overcome its current energy struggles. We recognize differences in regional energy use across countries and global regions. These differences must be taken into account when designing cross-border energy movements. We see specific policies being developed that, regrettably, do not consider the regional differences and ones that ultimately may negatively impact security of supply. Ladies and gentlemen, we at the IGU are fully committed to working with our members and undertaking the necessary efforts at national, regional, and international levels so that legislators have an informed, evidence-based view on the often conflicting realities of energy. We are the spokesperson of the global gas industry. We have over 140 members in over 80 countries around the world. And our purpose is to promote the political, technical, and economic progress of the gas industry towards a sustainable global energy system. We are never going to tell Africa what it needs. We are only asking Africa one question: what can we do to help? Thank you.
Africa, what can IGU do to help? I'm sure those who are against the IGU can answer that question when they present us at the IGU. Onwards, from the IGU now to the federal government of Nigeria, where we'll be listening to the special advisor to the president of Nigeria on energy, Mrs. Olu Bahai. Let's welcome our representative project coordinator at that office, Mr. Tajudeen Shuaib.
Ladies and gentlemen, industry leaders, and people listening to this speech. So these are addressed by from the Special Assistant to the President of Energy. And the theme of the address is invest in Nigeria and invest in our expertise. And I think indeed Africa, gone are the days when you talk about oil producing nations in Africa and you can count on your fingers. I've tried to count today. I've exhausted my two hands. The fingers are on my fingers. So indeed I think Nigeria is open for investment and indeed Africa is ready for business. So to the speech now. So it is an honor to stand before you today to discuss the matter of profound significance, which is investment and expertise. Talking about Nigeria, the global energy landscape is undergoing some form of transformation, characterized by renewables, artificial intelligence, hydrogen, carbon capture, and all those buzzwords that are actually taking the space in the discussion on energy. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, it's not been business as usual in the last 18 months. I'm sure everybody can attest to that. Under the leadership of the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, bold reforms are unlocking investment. Not just investment, it is driving economic growth. Beyond that, it is unlocking business for pets and members. And it's unlocking employment for Nigerians. And it's also positioned to do more of this. In the last 18 months, the subsidy which characterize the economy of Nigeria are being removed, and the funds that either spending on subsidies have been channeled to other sectors of the economy. The President has introduced directives on regulation, including local content, which my brother will talk about, and which our minister, not just his own minister, also talked about. There's also been fiscal incentives introduced in the country, not just for gas, but also for oil, and not just for onshore, but also deep water. There's also been final investment decisions. Last year, we witnessed the big investment, which we've not seen for a while in the deep water space, which is about 5 billion. Beyond these, there were other investments last year. There were investments in the area of clean energy investment, also coming from behind of one of the directives that the President issued in the last 18 months. So there have also been some power sector investments, all to deliver good living for Nigerian. In the areas of local content, there was also a directive of local content. Essentially, the intention behind that directive is to ensure that capacity building by members of the TAN continue to the extent that they will compete globally with the other global service providers. One of the things which have been an issue in the recent past is the issue of skill manpower. Over the past decade, we have witnessed a critical gap in skilled professionals. Many industry experts are either retiring or migrating abroad, creating a severe shortage of experienced engineers, geoscientists, and project managers. So what does this require? There is need for targeted investment in human capital development. There's also an opportunity here to empower women. Strategically, and because of the economic imperative it could deliver for Nigeria and indeed Africa. The question before us is not whether Nigeria and of course Africa have the talent, it is whether we are cultivating and retaining it. One of the most underutilized resources in the Nigerian economic sector are women. Women currently hold 25% of executive roles in Nigeria and just 21% in the energy workforce in Africa. This underrepresentation is not due to lack of capability, but rather a lack of access, sponsorship, and sustained focus on developing the skill base. The SCs remain committed to driving initiatives to ensure women with capacity have access to the right opportunities, not just because of diversity matters, but because it's a strategic necessity. Industries that embrace inclusion have been found out to consistently outperform their peers. Therefore, Nigeria and Africa cannot afford to sideline more than half of its population in a sector that will define the future economic future of Africa. Beyond gender, inclusion must also extend to the youth and marginalized community. Nigerian median age, for example, is 18 years. Yet, we are losing our young talent to immigration. If we fail to provide them with meaningful opportunity, we risk an irreversible brain drain. Building capacity is the next frontier, and that we should do, and we have the capability to do it. By the way, if we add the years of experience of PETA members, I can guess that it will be close to 1 million years. So we have the capability, we have the expertise. Nigeria is open for business. Nigerians have the vision, the policies are there, and the determination is there from the president to the minister and to each and every one of us. So Nigeria offers something even more valuable than its people. And what is that we have expertise? The PETA members have played a vital role in our industry growth. As we navigate this period of transformation, I urge you to remain engaged, to invest in our local capacity, and to collaborate with the government, and remain to so that Nigeria and Africa remain premier investment destination. Let us work together to build an energy sector that is innovative, inclusive, and globally competitive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tajudeen Shobayo, the Project Coordinator, Office of the Energy. Yes, please, a round of applause is more than 15. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so he said something quite interesting, that the cumulative years of experience of veteran members might just be over 1 million. True. Because if you look at the veteran board alone, I'm sure you'll find them cumulatively over 300 years of experience in there. And it's 30 years of veteran celebrated late last year. For the next few minutes, which will be the final activity for this opening ceremony before the 10 permits of the QW one more time. We'll have 2 veteran members take turns to come up and talk to us about navigating the next phase of veterans future. First off, I would like to welcome the Chief Executive Officer of Global Process and Pipelines Limited, and also the current Vice Chairman of Veteran, Engineer Obi Uzu. He will be the first kickstarter. Round of applause, please.
The Iron Minister, Dr. Obodu, Veteran Chairman, and Executive Secretary of NCDN, and Engineer Adamasu, representing. Let me stand on the existing protocol, please. We've done 30 years as veteran. So what is important now is what next? The next 30 years. We just looked at it that the pendulum has come back. So where are we heading the next section? We are looking at the digital transformation and technological innovation that is swinging the market, the world, and everything we've done in the past is being influenced by the digital transformation. Dr. Akobo will say much on that. However, I will say that the industry is looking for improvement on methodology and technologies that will help us access this hydrocarbon, probably at a lesser cost than what we are doing today. We will look at aspects of government policies and compliance that will be required for the future. A lot of things have changed with the climate change and all that, and the transition and all that. The policies are changing. Veteran is supporting and shaping these policies, compliance and creating awareness through our involvement in NCDN, SOL, NURC, and that's the Nigerian Upstream and Nigerian Downstream Regulatory Commission. We will be shifting sustainable supply chain. What has happened now is that we are doing things differently on the supply chain, where we are having collaboration between Veteran through what we have stated as TIG. That's Technical Industry Group. People doing drilling will come together, and people doing pipeline will come together. People doing well services will come together. In such a way, we will scale up. We will assess the technologies available within that space. That's all we are doing as Veteran. We are looking at regional cooperation. That's why you've seen a lot of African countries from Uganda, Mozambique, and others. They are here to see how we can collaborate and do transborder transactions instead of going to Europe to get the assets. We are doing jobs now in Equatorial Guinea from Nigeria. This is things that we are doing. In the past, they used to access it from Houston or Aberdeen. So we look at certification towards the new normal. There's going to be a huge requirement
going forward because of the climate change, environmental regulation, and other regulations that is coming. Some of them are protective, like you've seen Trump recently talking about tariffs and others. That will give protective cover for certain regions not to access certain markets that used to be before. So we, on our own, have developed what we call BSQ, paper seal of quality. To assess the quality of jobs we are able to deliver to our clients in Nigeria and around the world, to standardize whatever we are going to offer. Because that's what we've seen Halliburton, Schlumberger, and all these other companies did in the past. They standardize the jobs they are offering to any region they are practicing. So Patent is doing that as well, and encouraging our members to get international standard certification, organization certification, the ISO, so that whatever you have done is going to be in compliance with those ISOs. We are doing other certifications like the NCEC, which is Nigerian Content Equipment Certificate, to make sure that those who have capacity are verified for whatever they think they can do, not just the portfolio people jumping in and getting a contract they cannot execute. These are part of what Patent itself has decided to do more to assure our clients, assure the industry that we will continue supporting and providing all these supportive initiatives. Adopting the technology-driven environment will be critical for operational success. Last 30 years, we adopted the technology. You know, I could remember when I was in the university, we were doing Fortran program. You have a very large computer, which is not as big as this my phone. Gradually, we are here now. Technology apps are working. But next 30 years, technology will adopt us. That's when we will have machine learning, AI, which is actually coming very rapidly to decide what we are going to do. So what that has happened is that we feel that we should start getting prepared for the adoption of technology. Like the process systems need to be improved. Everything needs to be digitalized so that you will know what you are doing and get easier way to evaluate what you have done. If you cannot be measured, you cannot quantify it. So that's what we have done. Every company in Patent is doing one thing or the other to digitize what they are doing. We've developed, in my own company, we've developed our own software to manage both the store, both the operation, both the maintenance. Everything is in the system. If a client comes in, we mention the equipment we are sending to offshore, we can run down all the maintenance we've done on that equipment for the past 3-4 years on that particular day. Within 2 minutes, you have all that. So less paperwork and well-stored information within that system. We are partnering on technological transfer. We have a lot of OEM from overseas. Sometimes we will send our people to some of those countries to get trained on what they are doing, instead of what was happening before, where you stay and just collect 5% commission. We are not doing that. We say we must participate. That's what NCDMB insists on, that we will participate. Some of Nigerians have been to overseas for training. We've trained more than 30 Nigerians in Cambridge, Harvard, and special OEM facilities overseas. That way, we don't need experts again. When the adoption of experts, we have generated or created the experts within the country. That's the sustainable way, because when you bring this expert, 2 years they will go. You are going to be exposed. But if you train the Nigerians here, you will retain it for a longer period at the end of the day. We are looking at the industry academic collaboration. Currently, we've set up a professional chair in University of Colorado just to expand our relationship with universities. That's research. All those research can be marketed within our own industry, or we can influence with area of research, they will go to sustain what we are going to be doing going forward. Energy transition is real. However, with Trump coming in, energy transition is not only based on climate change again, it's going to be based on economics. What will happen is that you're going to access the energy you can afford, through which you can afford. A lot of us have solar system in our house. It's not because our generator is giving carbon. It's because it's relatively cheap when you are not at home. You use the solar system to power your house for cost purposes. And that's what is going to happen. Electric car is all over the world in Western Europe. Electric car is real. It's going to be real because it looks cheaper to run, it looks cheaper to maintain. Only as of today, it's more expensive to acquire. But as technology starts growing up, that cost will come down. That's how mobile phone happened. When we were using Note 0 Note, it was extremely expensive. But today it's coming down. Probably it will come down more. That's what will happen in other sorts of energies we are embraced with. We are looking at that as service providers and service companies. This shift on transition, we are also shifting on our offering. Some of our patent companies are now doing gas business because that's where the government is going. Some of them is even doing battery, mining battery and lithium to produce battery because that's where the world is kind of going as well. We are looking at where the shift is going. We are looking for opportunity and we will move that direction as a paper. So the last is the public perception and corporate responsibility. You know, there is a lot of agitations within the environment. We must invest in those communities, like I said, training the local people by managing that relationship is a key for sustainability. You can't just come like what happened before. You set up your business in an area and they are still looking at you driving SUV and they don't have anything to offer you. They will attack you one day. So we look at it, the best way to sustain going forward is to increase our corporate social responsibilities and improve service offering towards the mitigating environmental effects and enhance safety of our business. Everything you do as a company, mostly as a service company, look at the safety. It's the highest component you need to look at. When you have failed on safety, your brand will fail, your revenue will fail, and your customers will run away. Thank you.
Okay. Following that, the former Assistant Secretary of Pension and Chairman of Panel Holdings, let's welcome Dr. Dario Jacobo, a fellow of the Institute of Directors. Dr. Dario? Please round of applause for Dr. Jacobo, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's quite unfortunate that the government officials left because the next few minutes will actually let us know here as an organization. So I'm going to lay additional foundation on my senior brother, my good friend, also my alumni, the students that I have up there. So we thank you for laying the foundation. A lot of us have spoken clearly well. You know, I take speeches from the Honorable Minister, from the Federal Chairman, from every other person that I've spoken with. But what we're going to show as a group is exactly to show that we know where we're coming from. And because we know where we're coming from, we also know where we're going to be headed to. Our industry is quite important in the national landscape. It is the highest GDP earner of this country. And so, the topic and the essence of why we are here is talking about the role of petal in navigating the next in the Nigerian petroleum industry. The role of petal in navigating the next in the Nigerian petroleum industry. The next in what? That is the big one. The next in what? And that is the next in the policy and regulation. How are we annexing the policies? How are the policies being implemented? We are all here today on our individual trust, but we need, there is an evident need, and I'm also speaking to other African countries that we can learn from what Federal have done and then what we want to do next level. So the role of Federal in development, yes, there are executive orders mitigating costs, but are we taking time to estray where the cost is coming from? Is the cost coming from the local players? My brother, Engineer Obi has said, if you allow expatriates to work, I have about 30 expatriate people for you. The ratio of $1 to a Nigerian salary is quite apart. And we sustain that. Yesterday, Abdul Malik talked about the revolution, about the Airbus stories. If you look at how other countries are developed, they are very deliberate. It's not a choice. And so for us to move to the next level, if we want to sustain this industry, I can tell you that AI cannot build enough. I cannot put a boat on enough. And so we talk about sustainability. It's not about environmental pollution, but it's all about how the effect of our behavior, our activity on the environment, and the effect of the environment on our activity. We're not talking about circular economy, we're talking about cross economy. And so we need to talk about innovation. The technology innovation that we need to adopt as a country. We have a number of mileage of them in Kenya. I'm going to show you the missing link of our industry, but yes, as a group, we are taking them fragmentally. We talk about global sustainability. I wish that the members of House of Representatives of this country are here seated. It is not to write letters to federal members to come and talk about local government compliance. It's all about what the law, how do we interpret the law. If you look at it, the law has a very distinct, about 400 and something pages of law. It has enablers. How are we identifying these enablers? Call for action. I want to personally thank the IOCs here. I see in the room Total, my good friend June. I worked under you before when I was working at Total. I look in front of myself here, I see a lot of work. He gave the project, protected the project, we completed the project, and today he's driving NCD activity in Shell. And he's here patiently seated. Ladies and gentlemen, where are our national industries? We need to begin to galvanize ourselves. We don't have the connection to get the oil blocks. I have what it takes to get oil block. But if we all have oil block with the connection, without HECA, without the activity that we are promoting on this, in this room and other places, the oil cannot flow without activity. And so, we need to talk about sustainability, yes. Basically, it is very important to note that, yes, we are talking about sustainability and talking about carbon capture and so on and so forth. But suffice me to say that we should apply the special theory of material. We should not compare ourselves to global. Because if you compare a drop of sugar in a bottle of Coca-Cola versus a drop of sugar in a bottle, they are two different things. So we should be able to talk about how the environment affects our people. I come from River State, from Calabar region. If you go to my state, you see the flares burning. My first experience in life was to install flare gases, flow meters of flare gases. I have installed flare gases in Angola, Blue Waters, on Kizoba A, Kizoba B, in the whole of the world. And I can tell you that the flare gas has what we call highly volatile reactive organic compounds. And such are methane, not CO2. CO2 is not our problem, gentlemen and ladies, or ladies and gentlemen. Our problem is methane. And methane is very toxic. If we have our statistics right, the riverine areas where the oil and gases are being explored are constantly under serious attack and devastation. Like my colleague just said here, that we need digital transformation. Digital transformation is all about enablement. We are all thinking differently. Today, if I look at all of you, you are probably looking at 4 messages at a time. And because of the fact that you are so busy, it is important that the system that you are seeing is also learning your character. The next thing you see that Amazon will send you an email to buy a pair of sockets. So we need to understand that we need to deploy such activities in the industry. We need to talk about predictive maintenance. We need to talk about process optimization. Listen, our industry would have been better if we are able to optimize our processes. Optimize our processes and apply them into the government processes. This is what we miss. This is what we need to have in the industry. Our industry requires an architecture. Our industry requires a process architecture. We are all born to this world of processes. We have digestive process. We have reproductive process. We have processes. Even everything, how you eat has a process. The industry requires a process, and that is where PECAM comes into play. That you can see the entire process from appraisal. Today, our continental shelf is actually declining. The reservoirs are almost declining. I believe that APRC is doing so well by our mentor, Engineer Benga Pomalafe. Of course, the GCO has spoken, but this is what the country needs. If you look at this architecture, you will find that PECAM members play a entire role in this value chain. Right from appraisal west, all the way to the assembly and subsurface. My brother here, our chairman, operate in those areas. What about where is that and drilling? What about capital projects? How do you collaborate if you don't understand the project blueprint? And that is why we have formed TIG, Technical Industry Group. This is the playbook that we need to adopt in Nigeria. This is the playbook that we need to adopt in Uganda. This is the playbook that we need to adopt. Every country that is producing well, Saudi Arabia has this playbook. And this playbook is intertwined with the national data repository. That is where you can see that there is no code where you need to be able to understand what is going on. How do we compare the cost of production in Shell versus Total under the same hydrocarbon processes? How? What is the cost of production of a new barrel of oil in Shell versus ExxonMobil? How do we have best practices to govern? That industrial architecture is what is. Recently, the NUPRC launched a project, how to ramp up production. Quite easily to ramp up production, you are looking at very good periods, integration, downtime management, cycle time operation, design. There is no common vocabulary in this industry. And we have to establish that PECAM is the leader in establishing the industry vocabulary. We should not be too emphatic about global south and global north. We should talk about ourselves. I wish I can change the word local to national. I see us telling our people, our engineers, you want to pay Nigerian engineer 200 naira per day. When you bring somebody from Philippines and you pay him $2,000 per day, it's a shame. We need to tackle that, and that is what PECAM is. That is not increasing the cost of production. That is not increasing the cost of production. Every of the IOCs have a whole lot They call it technology space. They call it technology space, and they pay our money as part of R&D. It is important for us to note that we are always manipulated by financial institutions. We can have energy bank, but the question is where is the money going? You need to ask yourself, in the last decades, has there been an employment in Shabbat or until now? You need to ask, in the last decade, has there been employment in Shell, in Total? If not for local companies like us. Today I have about 150 employees. The Nigerian labor law says 1 to 4. When the federal government increased minimum wage, I did 75%. Just like my colleague just said, I have PhDs working for me. How will we? I can't know that the executive secretary is here and he talked about decrease. Sir, what you have done or what you are about to do is what is called the prevention of huge quake. We have earthquake, we have everything. But I don't know, for whatever reason that God has used you to say that, it's an affront of common sense. And it will be apt for humanitarian life. Because if we don't turn this loose, if you go to India, IIT Madras talks about 2,500 students per year on digital solution systems. We are not here in this industry to look at apps for sex. No, that's not where the money is. It is not to develop apps for betting. That is not where the industry is. It's to develop apps to better our industry, to better the industry landscape, to better the industry landscape. This is where the economy is. Where is the platform for agriculture? Where is the platform? Where are the people? Thank you, sir, for developing that skill. I'm personally committed to make sure that that skill is developed. I will put my $100,000 into your fund to make it happen. Because we need to develop our people. We can't build hospitals in the village when there are no trained medical doctors in the village. We can't send medication to the village when there are no people to dispense the medication. Most medications going to the village are very obsolete and they are both to temperatures. What are we going to do? We need to develop technology for cooling. So therefore, we just want to let you know that this is what Edition is doing, but it's in a fragmented manner. But we need the government. We talk about global competitiveness and quality. How can you compete globally? The most important thing for us to start to think about is not return on investment. It's not return on capital deployed, but it's return on the local or the national talent you are generating. I was opportune to work with General Electric, and I can imagine what has happened. That was because at that time, I was told that the local content was not even a content, it was not an act, it was a directive that told General Electric that he must employ people in Nigeria. And so GE came down and employed people. And today, you can imagine what I have produced. A company in Nigeria, company in Dubai, I'm about to open a company in Saudi Arabia, and I have experts working for me. I don't know if I saw the president of GE when I was in GE. I don't know if that was Lazarus Ambassador. Is that Lazarus Ambassador? If that is Lazarus Ambassador, this was my boss in General Electric. He was the one who nominated me to do one positive step in GE. Talking about bringing all the top GE executives into this country. But suffice me to say, where is the building of GE now? Where is the building? Can you define one building of General Electric in this country? Can you define one building of Slovenia in this country? Can you define one building of Alibaba in this country? Sorry to say that. We need to understand that even Korea, when they started to build the nuclear plant in Korea, they were very deliberate. Nigerian development should be very deliberate and not an option. If we begin to activate it with politics, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get it wrong. This is the time we need to reflect. This is the time our policy makers need to understand that policy without people is a fiasco. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Larry Akobo. I think he deserves another round of applause. It's really important action that is giving us where they're headed in the next 3 decades again. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we all right. We've come to the end of the opening ceremony for SAIPEC 2025. But please remain seated for a second. Just remain seated for a second. Let me quickly acknowledge Mr. Roland Adams, Managing Director of SNECO. Welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. This is what is going to follow my announcements, right? After my announcements, some of the dignitaries will rise and proceed to tour the exhibition. And in 15 minutes after they rise, we'll commence session 1.1. A moderator is here, our panelists are here for session 1.1 will started, and then we'll give you in that time frame of 15 minutes an opportunity to stretch your legs and use the convenience if you must, or perhaps take a short walk with the dignitaries around the exhibition floor. But we're starting the session 1.1 in 15 minutes after I shut this session. For now, I'd like us to please rise and close it formally with the anthem, after which I will encourage you to please, except you are an exhibitor or you are a press person who will go to cover that exhibition, you can proceed immediately after the national anthem. Every other delegate remain seated and allow the dignitaries exit towards the exhibition hall, and then you can join them. It is 12:25 by my time, and that means that at exactly 12:35 thereabout, I should be coming back here to start the 12:40 I'm going to push to start session 1.1. For now, please rise for the national anthem. First stanza only to close the opening ceremony. Again, please just remain seated for a second or two. If you're an exhibitor, you can proceed now. If you're a press person, journalist that wants to do the photo op, proceed now. And meanwhile, free this first entrance on my left, kindly freeze and allow the dignitaries to exit the toilet. We'll be back here in 15 minutes. 40